All right, here we are.
Assalamu alaikum. How's it going?
Good, good. So, days recording 6, missed a day in the middle because of Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. एक दिन हमें भी ऑफ मिलना चाहिए, I guess.
Yeah.
बनता है. Okay, then. So, we're gonna do something a little different this time. Some interesting posts from the social web, and then one very interesting piece that uh, I found on LinkedIn, which I thought was really worth discussing. So here we go. Screen share is on. PowerPoint is on. Full screen is on. Here we go. Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right. So Noshad Khalid Minhas, great point you made about who was responsible for the digital transformation of your company. And definitely, it seems like point number D is where we're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes disruption just shakes everything from the foundation, right? And we've been discussing this in our previous videos as well.
Yeah. I think it's what's going to be really interesting is how much traction this gets after coronavirus.
Yeah,
So if working from home is now the new normal currently, then how many people will have the option to continue this post-coronavirus world?
absolutely, absolutely. And there are obviously limitations to it. Uh, I
Yeah.
was listening to the Pakistan Software Houses Association president today, and he was just saying that BPO companies, people doing call center work, they can't work from home. So that whole industry is problematized. Even though in the
Actually,
West, yeah,
that's not true. So
yeah, it just needs some infrastructure to be set up on a remote level, which for a short term may or may not be feasible for the companies. So
yeah, so what for example Kareem had started doing a while ago was actually offering gainful employment to the wives
exactly,
of captains, so
yeah,
that they could work from home and actually take calls or respond to queries from the call center. So that I'm sorry, that's just a mindset, and I just don't buy that.
yeah. There are a lot of work from home call center jobs here as well. Like all the Marriott chain. If you ever call into a Marriott, it's somebody working from home. They just don't have a call center. It doesn't work for them.
Sure.
So yeah, so it can be done, but I guess that's one of those things that the gentleman said, leaving it there.
Sure.
Second, shout out to Mateen Hamza, Wisdoms. So, yes, everyone's looking for a corner to work in, Mateen, and well said. Maybe the kitchen cabinet is the place of last resort for
Yeah, I mean,
someone.
you found a roof. I found a corner with a door, thankfully that I can shut. But it's very challenging when housework needs to happen, and you're the person who's doing the housework. What are you going to do? Hide in a cupboard? So, yeah. But Mateen Bhai is a great gentleman, and really respect his very quiet and self-effacing sense of humor. So keep it up, Mateen bhai.
Absolutely. And now on to the serious topic that I wanted to discuss. So Mehboob Mahmood Saab, great post yesterday, in fact, on LinkedIn. A very good infographic, just showing the digital divide in Pakistan's education system and how easy it is for us to say that schooling will be disrupted when you look at the bottom of the pyramid with 22.8 million out of school, and that's so difficult. What are we even talking about here, right? What are we even talking about? So,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
this is one
go
of the
ahead.
reasons that I've been working or volunteering with TCF, the Citizens Foundation, for the last 2 years almost, because this is that segment, the absolute bottom of every pyramid that you can possibly draw in Pakistan, that is not in school. These kids do not have access to schooling, and at this time, TCF is running 1,600 plus schools. They've graduated 200,000 children. They've got their first child just, I think, went to America to study in on a scholarship in the US. They've got doctors, engineers, lawyers. They've got all kinds of amazing people who have come out of these schools. And the work that TCF does is absolutely incredible. The challenge is, though, that 200,000 is literally 1% of the children that need it. So my discussion with TCF is, has always been around how do we maximize the reach of this? And there are some discussions around, is there a way we can create a format that goes on television? Is there, someone who's willing to pay for us to educate kids as their act of charity? So they, buy a time slot of, let's say, 1 hour on a national television channel where kids are able to actually study basic things from alphabets and numbers to, higher level math and education, because these are not kids who have access to anything else. Maybe radio is another way of, getting to these children, because radio still has a fairly deep penetration, especially in the rural areas where a lot of these children are to be found. So it's it's a massive, massive challenge. And if there are any entrepreneurs out there with ideas, if there's any people out there with money who want to invest in the future of Pakistan, these are the most deserving children in our society. This 20 million children can change the fate of this country. It's
Yes.
just a very sad fact of life.
Yeah, and just a shout out to Saad, who commented when I reposted this post from Mahmood, that he spoke about edutainment, and you're also, sort of zeroing in on that, that perhaps we need to, like Saad said, meet people where they are, right? Rather than try to pull them into schools and change the whole socio-economic fabric of the bottom of the pyramid. We need to
Yeah.
somehow figure out a way for us to be in the fabric rather than
Yep.
break it apart and try to get people to become something they're not, right? So it's a big challenge, and especially when we talk about the idea that we can take schooling digital in Pakistan. You look at those who don't even have access to sitting on the floor and being beaten by their teacher, right? So we have to think about
Yeah.
who we're talking about, and is the strategy equitable? I think equity is so important here. It has to work across the board. It has to work for everyone, not just the elite. Because even if you look at the 1 million that has been segregated at the top, that's private schools with a fees of 3,000 plus. But if you really think about it, that's pretty low fees. So we're actually dealing with perhaps half of this 1 million when we're talking about
Yeah.
people who have access to a computer, a Zoom enabled machine, Wi-Fi infrastructure that can support it, can afford
Yeah,
all
that's a
that to
few hundred
happen.
thousand kids. Yeah,
There
yeah,
you go. So we have to be careful of making generalizations and commenting on how we can do this or that, or can my product work here or there. So that's a
yes,
really important point, and very well made by this infographic, I think. So I'm going to switch off the screen sharing.
sure.
If I get that going, and then we can continue our discussion here. Okay, so screen sharing is off, and we're almost at 9 minutes, so that's good. So I think that's pretty much our discussion. If you have anything else to add in the last few seconds.
No, just there's a lot of heartbreak and hardship being caused by this outbreak, and I just want to say a prayer for everyone whose lives have been affected, whose lives have been turned upside down by illness and by maybe the death of someone. Um, you know, I think we are all living in this weird reality that, none of us thought we would ever see in our lifetimes. Um, and I just, I'm praying for Italy and Spain and, the US and the UK, where this thing is just, just charging along like a steam train. So guys, we love you, praying for you. And, hopefully we get through